Hello, fellow nerds. My name is LJ,
And I'm Wen.
and we are from Nerd Initiative and Bleeding Rainbow Comics. Today, we're going to be talking about Captain America Brave New World. So, this is the non spoiler review, and in order to make sure I'm spoiler free, for the synopsis, I'm going to give us the blurb from IMDb. Because if I make it myself, I will give you spoilers. So, in this movie, Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, finds himself in the middle of an international incident and must discover the motive behind a nefarious global plan. And in this review, I will give you not much more than that, other than my opinions on certain things you've already seen in trailers and whatnot. So let's talk about really quick cast and acting, because I think that that's where this movie really shines. Surprisingly enough, it's not in an MCU movie. The acting, I mean, it's not usually bad, but in a superhero movie, it's not like the highest thing that you'd expect. You'd think that the biggest thing that you'd see is the CGI and the showmanship of it all. But I actually thought the acting was the strongest thing in the movie.
Yeah, the acting was very strong. Um, Harrison Ford really brought it, which I expected he would. And
I'm not a huge Harrison Ford fan, but I thought, like, I don't dislike him, but I'm not a mega fan, so I wasn't really expecting much from him. I will say the golden trio of this movie are Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley, and Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. I thought that those three really held this movie together, and if nothing else, this movie is worth it just to see their performances, because all three of them do an outstanding job. And one thing that I thought was really surprising was the recasting of Harrison Ford, and he just melded into the role, like, seamlessly for me. I thought he did an incredible job, and
he did a great job, but it did take me out of it a little bit because I missed the old Thaddeus Ross.
well, you can't have him, unfortunately.
I know, but I'm just saying it did take me out of it, and like, I love all of Harrison Ford's roles. I just don't like him very well.
Fair. I mean, for me, it didn't take me out of it at all. When I watched it, I didn't see Harrison Ford, so that was great for me, because that was actually one concern that I did have. I was worried that it would make it a little less immersive for me. But no, I think Anthony Mackie is on his A game. Carl Lumbly, I think, like, he really brought it. I thought he was really great in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I think all three of these actors have really stepped up their game.
Yeah.
And they have good chemistry together as well. Mm-hmm. Like, they fit really well together. Shout outs to Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres. Giancarlo Esposito, I thought his acting was great too. I just don't think his character really had a lot to do, or as much as I expected, I'll say.
Yeah.
Without giving any spoilers away, I kind of wish he was in more of the movie. Same with Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns, who actually had a slightly bigger part than I expected him to have in the movie. And then the only kind of disappointment that I had was Shira Haas as Ruth Bat-Seraph. And I don't think it was her fault. Like, with what she had to do, she's just given very little to do script-wise, writing-wise, and which is sad, because writing-wise, there was nothing really to connect with there, and I feel like that was one of the things that's on the cutting room floor with reshoots and all that good stuff, which every Marvel movie has, and unfortunately, sometimes characters have to suffer for it. Like, there was a wrestler that was completely, like, shot a scene for the movie, and then it was just completely cut, so he's not in the movie at all. I don't follow wrestling, so I forget his name, sorry.
She was a good character. It's just
she didn't have anything really.
Yeah. And I thought the fact that she was a Black Widow.
I wish that they played more into it a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't really needed, I guess, with how they utilized it.
Well, and for me, being a Black Widow, or even former Black Widow, it should be instantly recognizable in how they present themselves and how they fight. And she doesn't really fight that much in the movie, and when she does, it doesn't really scream Widow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it might just be because her stature is super small, and so.
I
But
know.
I don't really think that that's it. Maybe it doesn't help,
I think if they didn't tell you she was a Black Widow, you would never have even thought that she was a Black Widow.
and you have to like Black Widow is a calling card. Like if there's a widow, you should
Yeah.
know they are a widow based
It
on
was-
how they do anything.
It was kind of like they just added it in. Like, oh, let's add this line and make her a Black Widow.
Yeah, and I just maybe there was more with her character. I would have loved to see more, and maybe we will someday. Who knows? I did think that the character designs and costumes for this overall were excellent. I really liked both of Sam's suits, both the Captain, the Falcon and Winter Soldier suit that he gets at the end. The white suit is just really clean and crisp.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm one of the minorities that like the cowl better than the helmet. So I kind of did miss that because, you know, in the trailers they show he does move to the helmet,
Yeah.
which makes a ton more sense, I know, but I like the comic cowl. I also like his new cap suit. I think that it's really slick, and I just really like the quarter-length sleeves.
I prefer the white suit over the new Captain suit. I like the helmet, other than the fact I wish they would quit making the helmets like dissolve and reappear. Like
It's
with, like,
Wakanda
the-
nanotech.
I know, but it doesn't need to be on every suit ever. Like he can have a regular mask. It's fine.
For me, I think that because the suit is Wakandan, I think it does make sense in this context, and I think it wouldn't make sense to be a practical helmet.
Yeah, well,
Like, especially for, I don't know, he has to be able to hide his suit fairly easily. And just, it's just easier. We've had so much nanotech, like, we're used to it by this point.
I
But
just
also, like,
don't think everybody like.
you should think this suit is something that Shuri could make, and it is. That's,
Yeah,
like, that's how the Panther suit comes out of the necklace.
don't think everybody needs that.
Well, Joaquin Torres does not have it. I mean, he looks good in the suit and out of it, but he doesn't have the Wakandan tech.
I don't care.
I do think,
like
speaking
him
of
as Falcon.
character, yes, he is. I will say Danny Ramirez is very charismatic, and I think that he brings a lot to the role, and especially because you don't have that Falcon Winter Soldier banter. He kind of takes the place of Bucky. Not quite. He's not as broody. He's more.
No, he's
bright,
goofy.
energetic.
Yeah. How would
He's like Sam when Sam first started.
he's like Flyboy. Like he just goes with the flow. He's real loose. And...
Well, skipping ahead, I do like that Joaquin is there because it shows the amount of growth that Sam has had in this journey because of how inexperienced he is as compared to Sam. Like, he has a ton of experience, but compared to Sam,
Yeah.
not really. And that shows through experience and maturity and how they present themselves and how they go about situations.
Well, and that's why I like the MCU. You can see the growth of all these people. Like,
And that's why Joaquin is so important to
Yeah.
have in the story because
Yeah.
you have to have a vantage point to see where did this character come
yeah,
from.
I mean, it was Steve, now it's Sam, and then we get the next generation of like sidekick with Joaquin. Like, it's just, I like that progression.
I thought it made a ton of sense. I thought Red Hulk looked amazing. Speaking of character design,
Yeah, I still wish he had a mustache though. Harrison Ford should have got over it.
I
It's like the reverse Superman mustache.
see, for me, I don't care if Red Hulk has a mustache. I do care. Like, they took all of the mustache hair and gave it as chest hair, and I will gladly, I will take the trade off. He was a hunkin' Hulk. But the only character design I still, because we just got out of the movie an hour ago at this point. The only character design I'm still questioning is, which we can't really talk about in the non-spoiler review, but the final product that we see of Sam Stern's leader, which I can't give anything away, but I don't know. I'm still marinating that. I'll have to see by the time we record our spoiler review how I feel about it. Anything else for character design, costumes, anything? That's we
just
covered the big ones.
with the leader without giving anything away. There's something I really love about it, and there's something I really hate about it, and they're practically the same thing.
So go watch the movie and figure it out. Moving on, I did like the sets in this movie. There weren't a ton of different sets in the movie, but the ones that we did get to see stood out. like Celestial Island that we've seen in the trailer it was really nice to actually, spend some time there and see it, and that
Yeah.
whole scene around that, I think that it was done really well. Cinematography wise, it was also pretty awesome. I
Sam
I
has like a
also
little hideout clubhouse area.
yeah,
for
we'll
some-
just say Sam and Joaquin's home base is pretty fly, and I would like to go hang out in it.
I want to see all the different superheroes' little hidey holes.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I'm not a fan of is that the sets that I like the most you saw in the trailers. Like
Yeah.
you've seen when Red Hulk appears and there's all the cherry blossom trees and like
cherry blossoms. I wondered all the way up until this movie came out, like, what is with the cherry blossoms?
and we
And
can't
then-
say anything about it now.
Yeah, you do finally figure out why the cherry blossoms in the movie, and I won't say what it is or why, but I feel like it was just pushed for the silliest reason. Like it's just
I mean,
it was a lot
I
of
really
focus
liked it,
for
and
a
I
little
think
part.
story wise, I think it was important. But I thought that scene was pretty and it was thematic, and I don't know, I really liked it. But those are kind of the three that I really liked. Other than that, it's your typical spy thriller
Army
movie.
Yeah.
Which aren't typically my jam, but I really like this one. Moving on, speaking of stories and themes, I will say my top two centered around Sam and Thaddeus Ross. Sam being a hero that people aspire to be, not just a symbol of hope, because he, as of the beginning of this movie, has not taken the serum. He's an everyday dude. He's just doing the best he can no matter what. And like we said, comparing Torres now to Sam now and where Sam maybe started,
Yeah.
just showing his character growth.
I do like that he spoke many different languages through the movie.
It shows
Just-
experience.
Yeah, and it shows that
His
he's
we'll say Air Force experience.
he's an every person.
Yeah.
Like will communicate, save, and help anyone.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
He has all of the qualities an American should have.
Yeah. All
So-
accepting, all encompassing.
Yes. I also like the story and themes around Thaddeus Ross. And I'll say about that is how we can't grow unless we hold ourselves accountable.
Mhm.
I thought that there was good messaging in there and good writing in there, and showing his character growth. And he's a character that we've had forever in the MCU, and actually finally doing something character-wise with him other than just being one-dimensional. It was nice to see another side of him.
It was just jarring because it's played by a new actor as well, and then they're changing his whole personality. So it's like it's a new character.
Well, like I said, it really didn't take me out of the movie.
I
I mean, like, I've never really cared about Thaddeus Ross before now.
I
Like,
mean,
he's,
I haven't either, but it made me feel like I missed that as a character. Like it's not the same character. They changed his look. They changed the actual actor, which I know they had to
well,
do that.
think about what they did
But-
with, like, Abomination and She-Hulk and stuff, and waiting that long to finally explore the character itself
Yeah.
more. And it's just, I don't know, it's nice that we can come back to those things and say, what can we explore more? And I think that they do that well in this movie. Also, some things that I really liked about this movie, I really like the fight scenes anytime Sam is fighting anybody.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
been
think
pretty
that
cool.
most of the CGI in this movie is excellent. I do think that Sam's specific power set, not only his flight, but his new Wakandan tech, I think it's used very well. And just Sam has a very unique fighting style, and his fight scenes are different than anybody else in the MCU, which is how it should be because he's a different character. That
Yeah.
doesn't always happen. Some characters are copy paste fight scenes, but it does feel really unique to Sam and unique to this movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like a growth from the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, like not only using his wings and his shield and his Wakandan tech and his personality, like it's
And don't forget Red Wing.
and Red Wing.
There is a pretty cool scene with Red Wing in the shield.
They
won't
find
give it
new
away,
ways
but-
to use Red Wing, and it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's all I'll say. And like I said, the CGI was mostly great. Red Hulk looks phenomenal. That's where all the money went. It made to making Red Hulk sexy. But there was one scene toward the end where you could definitely tell they were in the volume a lot more.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that was a camera choice or if that was a money, time constraint,
I think it
whatever.
might be the trees because it was I know what scene you're talking about. And it had a lot of cherry blossoms in it, right?
I don't know
Like the
how much I
cherry.
should say.
Okay. Well, if it's the scene, I think it's a scene with cherry blossoms. And in Doctor Strange, I could also tell they were using the volume when they were in Wanda's tree forest type thing. So I wonder if it
Oh
has
no, they
something.
were really there.
So I wonder if it has something to do with trees
I don't know.
within the volume that makes it more noticeable.
I'm not going to pretend to know how to do CGI, so y'all tell us. But that was the only part where I kind of stepped outside of the movie and said, okay, this part looks different. I don't know if it's unfinished or if it's a creative choice, or we'll call it a creative choice. But it didn't ruin anything by any means. It just was noticeable in that one instance. And for it to be one instance out of an entire CGI heavy movie, I thought that was pretty good. Let's compare it to some other MCU movies. Like, where do you see? Where does it?
I don't know where it falls.
Where
in the
should we
whole-
expect it?
I don't know where I would put it in the whole of the MCU.
So let's say if you were to say it is most closely the quality of these MCU movies, where would you place
Yeah,
it?
I'd say it's better than the Marvels, which I know a lot of people didn't like the Marvels, but
And those
I
are
did.
terrible people. All of them, every
I
single one.
liked the Marvels, but I would say it's better than that. I don't know what movie I'd put above it. I know there are, but I just can't think of any right now off the top of my head that I'm not biased for. Like,
I've never actually seen an MCU movie.
like
I would
I'm always
say
gonna say the Spider-Man ones are better than that, obviously, but that's because Spider-Man is my favorite MCU character. So
I'll say taking out favoritism and all those things.
yeah, I don't.
I'm
like
going
the
to
pain.
say the most thing it's most comparable to, and if you like these things, you will also like this thing, unless you're a bleepity bleep.
I think it's comparable to the other Captain America.
I would agree. I think it is comparable to Captain America: The First Avenger. I think it is comparable to Captain America: Winter Soldier. I don't think comparing it to Civil War is fair because
No.
Civil War is really an Avengers movie.
Yeah, well,
I think it's comparable to most other MCU solo movies, if not above a lot of them. Like, it's certainly better done than Ant-Man. It's better done than 2 of the 3 Iron Mans. It's like, as far as MCU solo movies go, it's up there. Like, I think it does a really good job. I think it's really well done.
it's better than most of the Thor movies, I think.
I
Not Ragnarok, but
yeah, I would say it's better than at least 3 Thor movies.
yeah,
Like, not only I liked it better, it's just better done. Character consistency and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
a little more
throughout.
grounded too.
Yeah. And for me to like it with the type of movie that it is, that's it had not a single magical character in it, and I loved it, which is not common for me. But yeah, like,
You don't
obviously
even
it is.
normally like the Captain America movies in general, so it's surprising.
I mean, they're toward the bottom for me just because, like, I like them, but they're not my favorite. Like, I've never been a huge Captain America fan. I actually like Sam Wilson better than Steve Rogers.
Fair.
I find him more relatable.
Mhm.
And I don't know, he's more of a captain for all people. And Steve was just a really good person, and he wanted to do good. But Sam was more, this is the community. Hell, during this movie, he's still doing his veteran counseling shtick. But he's truly for the people at all times, instead of just wanting to do good. But I mean, you really can't compare it to the ensemble movies like the Avengers movies and
No.
stuff like that, because that's obviously what it's building up to.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's easily comparable to, if not up there with the better of the MCU solo movies.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I can't tell you what it is, but there is one post-credit at the very, like, after lights are up, right before the movie theater person comes in and says, okay, leave.
Which they
which they
actually did.
So,
like,
he did it nice. He was like, all right, guys, make sure you, like, clean up your stuff and have a safe trip home. Leave
Yes,
so I can clean.
But it was literally like 1 minute after the post credits.
Oh, it was like 1 second. He was ready.
Yeah,
he was tired. But there is one post-credit scene at the end. It is not like the super most important post-credit scene
No.
that's ever happened. It's there. It's for
very
you.
hinting at what's to come, but it doesn't blatantly say anything.
Yeah, it's. I'd watch it. You're gonna stay and watch it no matter what.
If you know the movie line that's coming up, then
Yes.
it's very okay. Yeah, I get it.
Anyways, before I spoil anything, so final part of the non-spoiler video. Let's do some ratings. I'll let you go first. You seem
From
shook.
1 to 5, or
1 to 10.
1 to 10. We're doing the rating. Okay.
1 to gajillion.
Go to 7.5.
Okay. I actually would rate it a little bit higher, which is weird for a Captain America movie for me. I would rate it a solid 8 out of 10
Okay.
because I think it is one of the better MCU solo movies, and it made me care about all the characters. I like that the new things that they brought along with the old things, and I really like the exploration of the older parts that we never really got to explore of the MCU. And it made me care about Thaddeus Ross. So that never thought that would happen. But no, overall, it was really enjoyable. I'm excited to go see it again in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it, or else I probably wouldn't be covering it. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
No. I think we covered it for the non-spoiler.
Yes, for the non-spoiler. Please stay tuned. Our spoiler review will be coming up shortly after this one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And for Nerd Initiative and Bleeding Rainbow Comics, I'm LJ.
And I'm Win.
And we'll see you next time.